we're going, everybody. As I mentioned yesterday's post that I was going to prepare this garden bed, well, I've just finished digging it over. Now it's all nice and fluffy. I've taken out all the potatoes. A lot of weeds in here, I'll tell you something. They're going to grow back pretty fast, but the potatoes are pretty resilient. They'll manage to grow within it all, and we'll just have to try and maintain it as best we can. Have a look at this. This is a bucket full of leftover spuds, basically, and I reckon there's still about a quarter as much left in the bed. As I look around, there's still potatoes everywhere. So needless to say, I'm going to have potatoes all the time in this bed, and that's the same thing. If you've got a patch in your garden bed that you plan to allocate potatoes to it, keep in mind that once you start planting them in there, they're going to be there for life. I mean, if it's only a small area, you'll be able to dig them up pretty easily. But if it's a big area like this, you're going to struggle to get every single one of those little seed potatoes out of there. So always, well, allocate it and know yourself that it's going to be your potato bed for the rest of your life. And this is what we're going to be planting back in there now. Now, what I'm going to do here is slightly level it off, and rather than just keeping it completely flat and dropping my potatoes on and top dressing them, I'm actually going to trench furrows across here lengthways, I'm thinking. Actually no, I'm going to do it this way this time. I'm going to go east-west, so that's north-south, north-south, and that's east-west in that direction there. So I'll be trenching them about 30 centimetres apart approximately, and then I'll be dropping my potatoes in the furrow in the trench itself. But before we do that, it's vital that you know that potatoes love phosphate. They need a lot of superphosphate. Well, I shouldn't say superphosphate, phosphate itself, which is a natural rock that we have, this black grit. That strengthens them to grow bigger, stronger, healthier roots. Let's have a look at some of these. There's a little potato growing. See all these little side shoots developing? It's chitting. Now, if this was out of the ground, it wouldn't have any roots on it at all. I just spotted one here. And this is what I'm talking about, new ones growing up. So there's a new potato growing there and another one there. And it develops all the way along like that. So see along the top there, see how it's growing out there? So that will happen if you keep covering it up, and you'll get more potatoes developing as you mound it up. So the idea here is I'm going to trench it, put my black grit in there, mix it through, and then drop my potatoes on top, and then just give them a light covering over the top and a good watering. See you tomorrow, folks. I just leveled it off, and I'm just going to create these little channels. They don't have to be perfect, although I like them to be. And have a look. I'm going to have to walk all over it. I'm going to walk in a channel like this. Now, when I do backfill it, I'm not actually going to fill it all the way up to the top again. I'm only going to fill it up halfway, allow the plant to grow, and as it grows, keep adding more back on top. Just finished the trenching, folks. You can see it's about 15 centimetres, 20 centimetres deep. It's really fluffy, the soil. You can use a mattock, you can use a hoe, you can use a trenching shovel, whatever's easier for you. The aim is to avoid stepping in there because you'll compact the soil, and you don't want that to happen because it'll end up just making it a little bit harder. Well, not really that much harder, but it's difficult for the plant to grow big, strong, healthy, shoots. You want it to be able to feed out freely. Now I'm putting the black grit in here at the base, and keep in mind, look, this is harmless to your plant. It won't burn it. It's not like your superphosphates that are chemically made. It doesn't leach. When you add water to this, it won't leach and release all the sulfuric acid that's used to make superphosphate. Folks, this is a natural rock. This will help develop big, strong, healthy roots in the plant and actually develop bigger tubers as well. So if you want big, healthy potatoes, you need some fresh organic compost in your garden, like we have in here, because I've been adding it every bloody season, pretty much, and black grit. I'm putting some at the bottom, and when we cover them over, we'll sprinkle a little bit more over the top. You're probably wondering why I bother trenching and not just leave them on top there. Thing is, I need to get them down deep enough, and if I don't do a trench, how am I going to do it? If I leave it on top, it means I've got to add more soil, and I'm going to end up raising this garden bed higher and higher. So we start off with a trench like this, and really, look, I'm taking the leaves off. Potatoes are going to start all over again. You can be pedantic and place them sort of separately apart and all things like that. You just throw them in there like this. I mean, they grow like wild anyway. And then we're going to just top dress them. And then we're going to get ready for potato cakes. The grow bags that I did yesterday, planted the potatoes, I failed to mention the importance of that grow bag in particular. I said you can grow them in all sorts of pots, potatoes, and they will grow because they're a tough growing plant and they can tolerate lots of conditions. But the grow bags, The benefit of the grow bag is because it's made out of felt, so it actually breathes all the way around and underneath there, so it doesn't suffocate the plant. And not only for potatoes, for anything, in particular fruit trees. You saw me plant a while back, you can look that up again, a peach tree that I had, a bare-rooted peach tree that I planted. Why am I cutting the roots off? I planted a peach tree in a grow pot, in the grow bag. It has gone crazy already. It's flowering. And it's the best way to grow your fruit trees if you're trying to start them off, to get a big, strong, healthy root system on it, because they'll grow uniformly all through the pot because they breathe all the way around and they won't wrap themselves around. And so for the potatoes, they get more airflow. It doesn't compact the soil. Obviously, you need to give it a bit more watering than you would as a plastic pot, but you get a better result at the end as far as a plant growth and the production values of it all. So grow bags, in my opinion, folks, are A1. For all types of plants. What am I growing, folks? Is that what you're trying to work out? I've got Dutch cream, I've got russet, I've got Pontiacs, I've got red pearl, sunset pearl, sorry, and I've got white star in here as well. It's a mixed potato salad, that's what it is. And look, at the end of the day, I've done the rows so I can sort of gauge where I've planted, and then I can dig up more freely. I suppose that's the theory of it. But the reality is, in the mounds, there's probably twice as many potatoes still in there. You can see them. They're just hiding their way all over the place. Oh yeah, by the way, we also grow frogs here too, by the way. Tell me that's not a good ecosystem, eh? Now we're going to lightly cover them. Just like that. Not all the soil. Just enough to give them a covering so the sun doesn't shine on them, because we know what happens when they stay in the full sun. They go green, they become gaseous and poisonous. And you can taste it too. And can I just share with you one experience? Well, many times I've had this, because I tried in the past many times to go to a fish shop and eat some fresh potato cakes and chips. And how many times I've been and taken a bite of the chips and I can taste the green. Have you ever had a green potato? You can. There's a distinct flavour in it and taste of it. And when it's green like that, and you look at it, well, it's not actually green. The potato's still the yellow or orange, or whatever colour they paint it, because they disguise it going gaseous or green. And that's a terrible thing for us, folks. Honestly, it's a terrible thing. Fast food stores, chain stores, big ones. I've tasted a few things, and look, I'll be straight with you. I've eaten some of the junk food, and I do that purposely, because some of it you do like, because there's so much salt and sugar in it. But I don't make it a habit, that's for sure. And when I do taste it, it reminds me of why I don't eat it. And the gaseous green flavour in the potato, well, mate, they've got something to answer for there, because from growing up as a young kid, 4, 5, 6 years old, cleaning potatoes every day, literally, and cooking them every day and tasting them, I can be probably the best potato taster for you in the world. Maybe I can't recognise all the varieties because, you know, I didn't spend my time recognising all of them as a young kid, but I can tell you whether it's a fresh potato or when it's a little bit off or it's a bit green and all things like that. And it's sad. So that's why I say grow your own. These potatoes, folks, we all can go belly up. I'll never starve. All right, so we've just buried them. There's still a few sitting on top of them, not the ones that I had there. They're ones just sort of floaters go hanging around there. I'll gather them up. What we do now, if your garden bed hasn't been fertilised, you haven't got any compost, get yourself a bag of superfood. It'll do this whole area. You can get it in a 6 kilo bucket with the black grit already in it, so you don't have to buy it separately. But if you already put your compost down, make sure you get your phosphate in there as well, folks, because this is what's going to make them grow bigger, stronger, juicier, tastier, and healthier. Nearly done. All it needs now is the water. And there you go, folks. Time to get your spuds in the ground. Pick your favourite spud, dig a hole, bury it, and give it a good water. And make sure you use the good stuff. Don't use any crappy old soil and synthetic fertilisers. You start using superphosphate and something goes wrong with you, don't come to me, because I'll say I told you so. Look after your health. If you're going to grow something in your garden, keep it natural, keep it clean, keep it organic. And if you want some potatoes, we've got plenty on our website, vasilisgarden.com. Everything's discounted, and our buy one get one free, folks, ends in a couple of days. Get one Black Grip liquid pack, get another one free, and they're actually heavily discounted as well. So take advantage of all those before the special ends. Otherwise, have a lovely weekend. I'll see you tomorrow. From me, Vasily, Maresi.